Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review from the Toronto Film Festival. So, this film here was one of the most anticipated. Again, I said it for the last film, but this one really was anticipated for me from this film festival. I'll explain why after I give y'all the synopsis so you understand why I was excited for this film. The name of this film is Dashcam, and the synopsis is: a caustic online streamer's behavior triggers a non-stop nightmare. It stars Amar and Annie Hardy. And this one is directed by Rob Savage, who last year directed one of the best horror movies that come out of the pandemic. It was called Host. I think it's currently still streaming on Shudder after it ran, I think, the film festival circuit. Huge movie to watch at home and just be thrilled with what he was able to pull off and what he was able to pull out for that film. Only that Host, not this one, but Host is only 50 minutes long. But the movie is incredible. So much so that he ended up signing with Blumhouse after that film. And this film, Dashcam, is presented by Blumhouse. Now, to get into this movie, Dashcam is a iPhone shot film. It is very much reminiscent of the found footage type of horror movies, but on this one we have Annie, who is possibly the worst human being ever to face this earth. This character is so horrible, but she's live streaming everything that she's going through in her life, on IGTV. It's something of that nature without saying it's IGTV. And she's just filming everything. She randomly shows up at her friend's house in London after leaving America because she is tired of the COVID lies. Another thing that's crazy. The COVID lies that America is telling their public. And she just is so disrespectful to her friend in this movie. And this was before we get into the horror element of it. So disrespectful to her friend in this movie. And then her friend goes off on her. We discover that she is also a MAGA supporter. This is like a liberal's dream. A liberal's dream of a horror movie here that turns into a nightmare. And from there on, we see her get kicked out of her friend's house and then her steal her friend's car. And then that's when the chaos ensues, as she is offered money to pick up an old woman and transport her somewhere. From that point on, with Dashcam, it is relentless in everything it throws at you. I'm not going to say this is a good movie because it is not a good movie, but boy, will you be entertained, which is a common theme so far for me through the Toronto Film Festival. It's films that aren't necessarily good films, but are entertaining films. This film is entertaining from the horror aspect of it really elevating what we know as the found footage genre of films, because we haven't seen one of these this good that's in the real world and not like his previous film Host, which was over a Zoom call. But this one's in the real world as we see her interacting with people, and it's crazy. Is it scary? Not in the slightest bit. It is just bat-ish. Everything humanly possible happens in this movie after she picks up this old woman who starts showing elements of supernatural abilities. And Annie is, after that happened, Annie is so much an annoying character that you don't necessarily know if you're rooting for her to live or if you're rooting for her to die. You just know you're there and along for the ride. Now, the tricks that Rob Savage pulls off from this type of film is great for a director. He builds suspense extremely well here. He gets off of an iPhone some really interesting shots and perspectives for this film. The biggest drawback and what makes this is a bad movie is literally the character I've been talking about this whole time. Annie is so unlikable that at no point in time am I cheering for her. So you're going to either hate her completely and want to turn off the film because some of the stuff she says in it is difficult to hear, especially that we're still in the pandemic and we hear what this character thinks of it. It can really disturb you and make you say, yep, I can't watch this movie. Or you could take it as subjective art and understand the message that they're trying to give you. But then at that point, it may become too preachy for certain people. But the character is so unlikable, it hurts the movie. Like, if the character was a little bit more likable or had any redeeming qualities, this character has not a single quality that's redeeming throughout this entire movie. And it makes it at times tough to care if she lives or she dies. And a lot of what's going on in the film is predicated on her living or her dying. So when you do that and you make your character so unlikable, it is really hard to get into the movie. But if you are willing just to sit back, understand this is like one of those old, like, 90s horror movies where you may get a bunch of your friends around and you just watch and laugh. This is the type of film for you. Is it good acting? Nope. Is it good directing? Yes. Is it a very interesting format that they shot this completely off of iPhones in an IG live format? Yes. Is it creepy? Yes. And it's hilarious at times. You're just going to absolutely hate the heroine of this film. So, Dashcam, again, brought to you by the Toronto Film Festival and Blumhouse Studios. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Dashcam 5 out of 10. Midway point. It's that type of film. I hate the lead character so much. So much. She is so unlikable. It hurts this film. But every other element of this film is really good. And it's something that I think can refresh the found film genre with the way he shot this film and the tricks he's able to pull off. Some of it is amazing. And just from a directing standpoint, you'll be like, okay, this isn't that bad. But from an acting standpoint and a character standpoint, you don't care if any of these people live or die. And not in a good horror movie way of not caring. I mean in a way where you're like, could someone just shoot her or kill her so I don't have to deal with her anymore? And that is the biggest issue with this film. But we'll let you know when we get distribution for this film. Again, we know it's a Blumhouse film. It does not have overall distribution yet, even though this looks like it's something that Shudder definitely will pick up. Most likely, because it fits their mode of film so well. But this has been another JVS movie review from the Toronto Film Festival. Peace, people.